Hi. Today's video is going to be about something interesting. I have been working on a couple of new things for you guys. I'm quite literally here for the first time on my YouTube channel with no makeup whatsoever except for lip balm. So, woohoo. So today we're going to be talking about one occult practice in particular called dowsing. Dowsing is something that I don't even know because I started intuitively, instinctively doing it before I even knew that it was called dowsing. I first used to use like this anklet kind of bracelet thing, and I think I was a teenager or something. I don't even remember when this was. Not, I think I was like 21. Yeah. So I just said like, okay, if the answer is right, it's going to rotate clockwise, and if it's wrong, it's going to rotate anti-clockwise. Now the beautiful thing is, skeptics, people who do not believe in this mumbo jumbo, esoteria, pseudo psychological means pseudo spiritual bullcrap. I mean, it's not bullcrap to me, but to you, it's bullcrap. I suggest you exit this video immediately. This is not going to make sense to you. I say on my channel again and again, I don't know if I've said it before, but I say that this is a place where I strongly believe in man is made by belief. As he believes, so he is. I feel like we create the world around us, and things we choose to believe in gain power, gain units of reality. If that's, let's make that a thing. Yeah, what's real is based on whether you believe it or not. So I think life itself, existence itself, is one big placebo effect. So if you believe in something, pretty sure it exists. I think it's that beautiful on some level, in some realm where thoughts manifest into reality. I think all of our beliefs and our notions have a say. They're not just things that the mind projects. The mind itself as an entity is so vast and so capable of being omnipresent and, like, like taking you back in time, taking you forward in time, breaking barriers. I think we don't give the mind enough credit beyond the biological construct of what we understand this three-dimensional reality to be. So yeah, if this already is not making sense to you, you can exit this video. But if you just want to check out what I'm saying, just want to be here for the ride, just want to laugh at me, you can stay. So yeah, we're going to be talking about an occult practice. Club this in with other practices like tarot card reading, stuff like that. Dowsing is basically a way for energy to be used, um, like translating energy around you and energy that you can channel through your intuition into a device, which is either like a necklace, or people use rudrakshmalas, prayer beads, rosary beads. I shifted from using my anklet to a rudrakshmala. So I basically just hold it in my hands. I think I can demonstrate it for you. Hold on. Yeah. So if I hold this and I ask someone to ask me a yes or no question, if it rotates clockwise, it's yes. And if it rotates anti-clockwise, it's a no. Okay. Yeah, I'm kind of controlling it right now. But yeah, what should you know about dowsing? Of course, there have been doubts about it. First of all, let me bring in Ketu, right? Occult practices, we have to bring in a bit of astrology here if we're talking occult practices. I have Ketu in the eighth house. The eighth house is the house of occult. I want to give background on this, astrologically speaking, from a Vedic astrology point of view, because that is what I'm about on this channel as well. But you will notice that a lot of people with eighth house placements that are strong, especially Ketu in the eighth house, brings up a lot of occult, right? Because Ketu also enables spirituality in different ways. Rahu Ketu, based on where they're placed, can also bring about spiritual practices or like occult practices. So eighth house energy is already occult energy, right? It's the what's hidden from us, the hidden worlds, and just things that are not really visible on the surface. So the occult is all about the hidden worlds and esoteric realms and stuff that a lot of people, mainstream media or like the masses, do not go venturing into readily, or it's mostly regarded as mumbo jumbo and people do not care for it. It's not given a lot of center stage. It is hidden. It is discreet. It is behind closed doors. Tarot readings are personal. Energy readings are personalized, and they're customized to people's energies, people's life paths, their destinies, and their feelings, and that changes from time to time. So yeah, the pros and cons of dowsing is what I'm going to tell you, and how to become someone who dowses, or how to use dowsing to your advantage. One thing's for sure, you cannot douse if you are in a low energy space. Like, you need a lot of, because every time you do dowsing, you lose energy. That's what I recently learned. Like, you cannot douse and keep your high prana, high energy. So usually I recommend dowsing right after your spiritual practice or right after meditation or chanting. You can use the rosary beads to chant a couple of rounds as well, and then bring your energy high so that you're ready to lose some energy. Occult practices usually take some of your energy, and it's beautiful because with anything like alternative healing practices, esoteric practices, we use energy as a resource, right? Here we're using energy as a resource to tell us yes or no. In general, you can make energy banks and say this energy is gonna, like, for example, help me today, because today is a day filled with like activities and I need my strength, so this energy is going to protect me. Or you customize energy banks. You can do that is something I intuitively. So as a Revati nakshatra native, sometimes you see that intuitively you feel like doing certain practices that feel right to you. So this is what I discovered. I make energy banks, right? For different things. For example, if I want to, this is funny because I grind my teeth at night, or I used to, as a stress response, or just generally. I think some people have that, right? I used to wear a night guard. But every day before I sleep, I make an energy bank and I say, this energy is going to prevent me from grinding my teeth at night. And surprisingly, I don't grind my teeth because that energy takes care of it. And I stopped wearing my night guard because of that, because I didn't require one because I stopped grinding my teeth, which is something that I don't know whether it's placebo or like what it is, but somehow I don't grind my teeth. And days I do forget to do that, maybe I think, yeah, I do grind my teeth. And it's funny because you could say that it's the mind registering something, it's placebo. For me, I'm like, yeah, I made that energy bank and that energy is customized, and the energy has that sankalpa or that wish or that charge of your intention. You're basically giving it a job to do. So energy is at our disposal. You will see this in pranic healing as well. Pranic healing, Reiki, you harness energy and you give energy when you're healing. You're not giving energy to someone from your own body, from your own self. You're harnessing it in one hand, getting it from the sky, the sun, the air around you. Prana is abundant around us. We just need to tune into it. We just need to channel it, and we just need to raise our consciousness to be able to feel it more around us, right? Like, I mean, prana raises consciousness, but you get it, like practices that help us raise our prana as well. So sources of prana are abundant. They're all around us. We just need to make sure we are vibrating at that frequency in order to tune into higher prana levels. In pranic healing, you receive energy and you give energy when you're healing, right? You also remove energetic blocks. In the world of alternative healing practices, energy is something we actually tamper with. I mean, tamper with sounds wrong. Like, we actually tap into and we use for the greater good, for the greater good of another person, collectively, or ourselves, whatever it is. The more you become aware of this power that you have to, I don't want to use the word manipulate because it sounds wrong, but like use energy to your advantage, become aware of the energetic spaces around us, energy being a contributing factor to literally everything in your life, including what you attract, what you're carrying mentally, emotionally, physically, what you bring to a space, what you feel, your sensitivity, your intuition, everything, right? Like everything, originates. Even sickness, a lot of people say, I mean, healers usually say that even if someone's not feeling, for example, a throat infection yet, you can sense that a person will get a throat infection just based on the energy, especially in scanning, energy scanning, in pranic healing. If there's like a dense gray energy around the throat area, you can predict, like, first, energy always affects, I mean, sickness always affects the energy body and then it affects the physical body. That's why, like, energetically, when our prana is low, is when, low prana states are associated with depression, with mental illness, with just, all of those things. So when we are low prana, we are more susceptible to like sicknesses. The higher our energy states are, the more healthier we are as well. There's so many links between breath, mind, body, energy, right? So yeah, it is said that first something affects the energy body and then it affects the physical body, because everybody has a physical body and everybody has an energy body, right? An aura. Before I get back to dowsing, I want to talk more about energy being an active factor in our lives. We don't register it, but it is really, really a thing. You walk into a space with a certain energy, it affects how you interact with people in that space, it affects everything. We pick up energy all the time. We're not consciously aware of it because the more we are tuned into this three-dimensional realm and like this reality, this material world, the more we are reading cues of the material world for sure, based on what we know, like body language, things like that, things connected to the gross existence. But our subconscious is picking up on things all the time. And the more we are doing spiritual practices, the more our psychic muscle can, pick up things and know things in this realm and beyond, even if you're in the human form, right? I've talked about things like this, I've touched upon it in a lot of videos before, but then, yeah, more than just scientific method backed stuff here, because, yeah, let's not get into that right now. But yeah, let's come to a quote that I love by Eckhart Tolle. Not a quote, like, but a concept. He basically says that we are constantly, bringing out in other people what we're energetically projecting onto them. Like when we expect someone to treat us a certain way, or when we fear someone treating us a certain way, or when we approach anybody not from a place of presence but from a place of, tuning into subconscious states of energy that are lower than the higher version of themselves, then we bring it out in them more. Like when we're operating from a lower energy place and we're connecting to the lower energy parts of somebody else, like somebody's pain body or somebody's shadow, that is what we bring out in them more. So, like, low prana states don't just affect us personally, they also affect what we're bringing out in other people. So by keeping higher prana levels, higher energy levels, we're also doing a service to people around us, because we are empowering them to step into their higher prana state instead of, tuning into, because our lower state tunes into their lower states. Yes, very low prana people drain you energetically, but also you find that there's an equilibrium. If you're operating on a higher prana, maybe you are a little drained, but they also it also helps people elevate their consciousness to meet you where you are. Or if they can't meet you where you are, at least, that energy that is drained is not drained to a minus, it's just drained like 10% or 20% or 50%, then you can refill again. But anyway, those are all energy dynamics. He touches upon how, there's a correlation between our inner states of being and what gets created in our external environment, and what gets manifested, and what gets manifested in people, and what we bring out in people, and whether that's connected to their shadow selves or their higher selves, right? Like it depends on where we are at and what we are expecting of them, what we are projecting onto them. So there's always an energy dance happening between two people. There's always something subtle going on that's, not in the readable radar in the physical world. It's always in the subconscious and beyond the psychic world, right? So coming back to dowsing as an occult practice, it does drain your energy. You cannot come back from a day of work after like giving the day your all without recharging, without meditating, and then use dowsing. It's going to be inaccurate. I had my doubts about dowsing as well, because I used to have moments where like it's just rotating one way and rotating the next way the next time. One thing's for sure, energy it's malleable, right, to like your desires, what you're projecting. So to actually be like certain of intuitively bringing out a dowsing reading, you need to be disconnected from the outcome, and you need to come from a higher energy realm. If you are hoping for an outcome in your dowsing, chances are it could be inaccurate, right? So you have to connect to a detached space. You have to come from a place of high energy, where the energy is doing the reading and not you, and not your wish getting fulfilled. Because when you wish for something, that has an energetic charge as well, that also gets translated into that. So that's one thing. When you're dowsing for yourself or for other people, you really do need to, and that's what's tricky about dowsing for yourself, you really do need to get into a space where you are not attached to the outcome, and you just want to know what energy thinks, right? So also when you're in a high energy space, this is also something that Eckhart Tolle says, when you're high energy space, outcomes don't really matter as much. When you're in a space of presence, connected to your inner self in the divine, there is a sense of vairagya or detachment from outcomes. There is a sense of, like acceptance, or there is a sense of like inner strength that comes about, that no matter what happens, even if it's against my human desires, it is what is, for the best. So there is that thing where energy knows that its purpose is not to be, I don't know, like it energy is not some, it's not a toy, right? It is something that responds to natural law and natural will. And the natural will for us humans is ultimately energetic evolution, and ultimately it is higher levels of consciousness. And energy knows that. I mean, there are energies in all realms, right? There are different realms of energies, different dimensions of energies, but you cannot take higher energy states for like a ride into question after question after question after question after question, tied deeply to human desires, because that's just gonna, each reading is just gonna lower the vibration, lower the vibration, lower the vibration, lower the vibration. I've already said that the more you are not in a high energy space when you're giving the reading, the more there are chances for inaccuracy, right? So you do need to be in a high energy state. So what I would suggest, if you are getting into dowsing, do it after meditations and limit the number of questions you ask. If it's for yourself, try really, really, really hard to disconnect. I mean, not try really hard, but like trying is against the nature of meditation and being in a meditative space. But like, make sure that you're not connected to the outcome. And if you are connected to the outcome, then it would be best if you could have somebody else douse for you, right? If you are dowsing for other people, try to limit the number of questions they ask you, because the more they ask you questions, the more that's going to deplete you, and the more that, there's going to be certain level of projection into the outcome. I think dowsing as a practice, that's exactly what it is. It's a practice. You practice it, but it also has some dignity and some certain level of honor to it, right? Like, you need to honor energy's willingness to give you an answer or guide you. So you can't misuse that. It's always tampering with, cosmic law if you try to influence and misuse that and get so much reassurance from that and certainty from that. Because the law of the universe and nature, like if humans had certainty in their lives, we wouldn't be learning our lessons. There is uncertainty that is a part and parcel of universal law. It is a part of our lives. We're not supposed to know everything. So nature knows when to feed us with information and what to feed us with. So uh, there is a certain level of balance between being able to predict as well as respecting nature and not really tampering with divine law, right? But saying that again, it's a balance, right? It's like nature and the karmic laws and divine grace and your free will. So it's everything is a possibility, and that's what makes it so hard to like pinpoint and like measure. And it's something that goes beyond what we need to prove as science, is being able to measure it, right? Making it tangible. It is not tangible, but it is accurate a lot of the time. You will know when it's accurate, but you will feel when it's accurate. It is something to practice. But yeah, like I would say astrology is more reliable with respect to, if not predictions, just knowing what we're working with respect to anything in your life that you want answers for. Or like when astrology can really tell you what lessons you're going through, what to expect, like what you need to learn in order to go through a phase of your life. Right now, astrology is more like a blueprint and a guideline, right? These things are just they're legit, but like I wouldn't rely on them alone or rely on them a lot. Yeah, but it is pretty cool. Dowsing is pretty great if you do need to ask questions or confirm intuitions. And I think it's a very great practice. So that's on dowsing as an occult practice for today. We covered what it is, how to do it, we covered energetic realms and states, we covered astrological significance behind the eighth house and occult practices. This was just a crash course video on dowsing, because I couldn't find a lot of information on YouTube about it. But yeah, these are practices that are not widely talked about, and they do intuitively come to you. It's insane. Like sometimes you just know that this is what I want to do. Pranic healing also, just like dowsing, there is also those shells. They say, in my language they say kavade. They ask questions to the divine with shells and say yes or no questions. In pranic healing, you also, if energy stops at a certain point, that means yes, and if it doesn't stop, it means no, right? Like, and you feel a tingle when you have to stop, it means yes, and when you don't feel that tingle, it's a no. So like pranic healing also, um, you know answers yes or no questions. Energy can answer yes or no questions. Energy is at your disposal, right? You can use energy for good things. Always use them for well-intentioned karmic I mean, well-intentioned dharmic things. Dharmic means something that's doesn't do harm to yourself or to other people in a nutshell, or it is for the greater good and for your greater evolution, for somebody else's greater evolution. The second we start using energy for the negative things, like casting spells, or like cursing or doing something, actively putting energy into that, karma is in play, right? You don't want to get back what you dish out energetically, right? So be very careful when you're trying to make energy banks and stuff. Know that if you try to, I don't know, sabotage someone's chance at getting a promotion because you want to get it instead, that the energy, it might work. These things like black magic exist, but don't think the universe is not going to tally that up. Like, the universe is watching, it's counting. For every action there's an equal and opposite reaction, in every sense of the word. So yeah, so energy does answer questions. I knew someone who was an advanced pranic healer, who used to, you know predict people's BPs, blood pressure readings, and then they would check the blood pressure, and it would be exactly the number that they sort of, you know predicted. I mean, predicted, or like, uh, can't even say guessed, like they felt, right? So yeah, pretty cool, very very cool. If these are things that excite you and you want to talk about them, I'm always here to hit up. You can hit me up on my Instagram. I put in links down below to my socials, and yeah, that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.